Robin Toft was the primary owner of Toft Group, and they provided executive search services for the pharma and biotech industry. One of the cornerstones of her business was driving diversity in the boardroom and in the executive ranks. One of the things that Robin did is she wrote a book called We Can, which was about women executives and empowering women. And she had started doing keynote speaking and consulting around that and wanted to build a business around that whole initiative as her next step. And that was really an impetus to do a transaction so that she could free up both some capital and time to focus on that as a next initiative. And so she had hired a president to run her company and had started to phase out of day-to-day operations, and then got us involved to help her sell the company, partly to achieve liquidity and give herself the financial freedom to invest in her next venture, and partly to find a buyer that was going to be a good place that would take care of all of our clients and people and put the company on a continued growth platform. In terms of the process, there was one strategic buyer that was very interested, and they had kind of quote unquote courted each other over a number of years. And I think she had received offers 1 or 2 years before we got involved from this buyer, and ultimately decided the time wasn't right and the deal wasn't right. And so when we got involved, we decided to run a process where we went to this buyer first and gave them the opportunity to put in a good offer and preempt a market process. What ultimately happened is the offer that came in was a good offer, but when we sat down with her and looked at it, we weren't confident that it was a market clearing price. And so we chose to go and talk to a handful of other strategic buyers and ultimately use that process to validate what the market value of her business was, went back to the original strategic buyer with a strong conviction about where the price and the terms and the value needed to be, and ultimately got the deal done with the original buyer at the right price. The challenges with that executive search is a very volatile business where they had some ups and downs over the years. And so we had to do a lot of research on the market and the specific niches and segments that her company served in order to really prove out that there was a lot of stability and repeatability of the client base. And a lot of that research we did on the client base and the repeat nature of her clients really was kind of a key driver in getting the value. And then I think the second challenge is it's often hard when you have one strategic buyer involved and interested. You try to keep them interested at the same time as going and talk to other buyers. And so there's a lot of finesse that takes place in that process. And the ultimate result, the company was sold. Robin worked there during a transition period. Everything went well. And she's off and racing, working on her next venture at this point.